NBA coaches see basketball differently than everyone else. They are not reacting to highlights or box scores. They are watching patterns form, pressure build, and discipline erode over the course of a possession. And when coaches talk about the one player who consistently breaks down their best planning, they often mention the same name.
What player is the hardest to game plan for?
It's always been Steph.
Steph Curry is that player that overwhelms the teams with inevitability.
Curry spins. Step back, trying to draw another foul, and it goes in! Oh, Steph Curry with a circus shot and the foul. Green pass too low, but Curry recovers. Shot clock winding down. Curry's gonna have to put it up, launches it up, shot clock. Oh, he knocks it down! Steph Curry with the shot clock expiring.
Don't take it from me or the talking heads. Hear from the coaches themselves. So let's start with Tom Thibodeau explaining why guarding Steph is never about surviving a single action.
Doesn't take much for him to get going. He never stops, so you can handle the first part, then there's going to be a second and third one.
That sentence captures the core issue. Most defensive schemes are built to win one exchange. You fight over the screen, you switch on time, you recover cleanly. Against most players, that's enough to reset the possession. Against Steph Curry, it is only the beginning. Ty Lue frames it from a game planning perspective, and the reason why Steph is so hard to guard is not even exactly the threes.
Because of everything he creates. He creates everything off his movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Steph's movement turns defense into a stamina test. He does not wait for the ball to become dangerous. He forces defenders to make decisions continuously, and each correct decision costs energy. Over time, that energy loss becomes hesitation, and hesitation is all Steph needs. That is why coaches do not talk about stopping him. They talk about surviving Steph Curry, especially when he turns on that gravity. One of the most misleading things about guarding Steph Curry is that you're doing a good job when he's missing shots, that the initial action is denied might look like containment. But from the bench, coaches see something else entirely. Just listen to Nick Nurse here.
He certainly made a lot of spectacular shots. I mean, listen, you let him shoot it in any way, he's got a chance of making it go in. He can make them guarded, he can make them from anywhere on the court, and he can make them in a variety of ways.
This realization forces defenders to make a decision before the ball ever reaches Steph. Defenders cannot wait to react. They have to anticipate. And anticipation is where structure begins to collapse. Jamal Mosley explains what that looks like on the floor.
He's always moving. They're always looking for him. We switched up. He found a way to slip out of it, get to a corner. A lot of that happened also in transition in the cross matches, and where he's just coming up, they get a high screen and he's coming down the floor and just pulling. He's unbelievably, there's a reason why he is who he is.
This is gravity in its purest form. Steph does not need the ball to tilt the floor. His relocation pulls defenders out of position, and those small adjustments create spaces that did not exist seconds earlier. Think about that. Steph Curry forces defenses to react not to passes, but to the possibility of Steph receiving it. That pressure compounds possession after possession, and eventually gets to a level where everyone forgoes the idea that it's possible to guard Curry. Doug Christie puts it perfectly.
Steph is an absolute monster. He's been that in this league. He's one of the greatest that's ever done it. So you're not going to stop him, and that's not what you're trying to do. You're just trying to make it as difficult as humanly possible.
That admission is telling. It is why his impact often feels larger than his stat line. The defense is already broken by the time the shot clock reaches its later stages. And by then, Steph does not need to touch the ball to decide the outcome. Every coach dreams to have such a player on their own team, but Clippers' Ty Lue had something to say about that.
And people always want to try to duplicate, what Golden State does, but you can't duplicate that because your best player, who was a Hall of Famer, who was top 5 player in the league, that's how he wants to play.
Every few years, another team tries to borrow pieces of what Golden State does. More movement, more shooting, more read and react principles. On paper, it looks like you're cooking, but on the floor, you're always left with a bad taste in your mouth because the most important thing is missing: Chef Curry. Coach Steve Kerr is one of the most successful coaches in NBA history, and he knows how important this missing piece is.
Knowing what you know right now with your knowledge and experience and championships, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Just coach Steph Curry if you get a chance.
You see, the key reason why Steph is more than just a scheme is this. Where most stars dominate by demanding the ball and organizing the possession around themselves, Steph does the opposite. He gives the ball up willingly, trusting that his movement will pull the defense with him. Steve Kerr went further, explaining this.
Well, I would never leave him, I can tell you that. I love Steph. I'm so incredibly lucky to have coached him for 12 years. I think every coach kind of dreams of, coaching somebody like Steph.
Kerr's perspective reveals something subtle. Coaches see Steph's willingness to sacrifice visibility for pressure. Defenders cannot relax when he gives the ball up, because that is often when the real damage begins. The result is a system that looks democratic, but is quietly centralized around one truth. Nothing works without Steph because everything works through him, even when he's not involved in the play at all. But surely, if a team can fix up their leaks and assign one crazy player like the Cavs did with Matthew Dellavedova in 2015, they can stop Curry, right? Well, no. Take for instance the Nuggets versus the Warriors game from back in April 4th, 2025, that the Warriors won 118-104. Denver had managed to put up a solid defensive game in the first quarter, and they led 44-34. But then Curry just got hot and went for 36 points, including 7 3-pointers, and that was it. After the game, Nuggets then coach Michael Malone said,
Steph Curry obviously got off tonight. The first time this year in our 3 head-to-head meetings that he's gotten off. So you tip your cap to him.
This takes us back to Doug Christie's take when he said, "You're not trying to stop him, you're just trying to make it as difficult as possible." Eventually, Darko Rajakovic said the quiet part out loud.
I just told my coaching staff, I've been playing against him for a long, long time. I can't wait for him to retire. I'm going to get drunk that night. I promise you that. I'm going to celebrate.
By the way, Coach Darko is not alone in this.
Steph is, he's something like we've never seen. It's been fun watching his journey and watching his career and his ascension to greatness. He's just been amazing. It's been fun to watch. He's not fun to coach against.
That is not exaggeration. It is exhaustion. Steph's conditioning turns pressure into something permanent. Even late in games when legs are heavy and communication softens, Steph is still moving with purpose. How is he able to do this at 37? Steve Kerr explains this.
Because he works all summer. He's constantly preparing himself, getting better, but also trying to find ways to extend his window to compete at the highest level, whatever it takes, improving his body, improving his mind. He's always looking for an edge, and his work ethic is second to none.
Indeed, the threat remains constant because the engine behind it never slows. But that's not all. That engine is humble, graceful, and according to Jason Kidd, very much like Tim Duncan.
Very humble, very graceful, a champion, but he's always, he's one of those Tim Duncan type stars, just low maintenance, goes out there and does his job at a high level, and he's a winner.
And that has been the defining quality of Steph Curry's career. For the audience, it looks joyful and effortless. For coaches, it feels relentless. Every game plan begins with him and ends with the realization that there is no final adjustment, only endurance. You see, when NBA coaches speak with this level of clarity and agreement, the message becomes unmistakable. Steph Curry is hard to guard not because defenses fail, but because success against him is temporary. Movement replaces isolation, gravity replaces force, and intelligence replaces urgency. But at 37, for how long can Steph Curry continue to cook the league before it's time to call it quits and go into golfing? Do you think he can still go for another 3 years? Let us know in the comments. But if you want to hear more from NBA coaches about another icon, watch NBA Coaches on Guarding Nikola Jokic next.